Hey everyone, welcome back to another production meeting. We are here, Ryan, Alex, and Matt. How is everybody this week?
I'm dandy. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I'm dandy. Even though I've played a string of the crappiest games.
Oh, do tell. The crappiest games. What could they possibly be?
No, okay, that's not fair. No, I told you about that.
You're like, nah, that's not fair. They were all Game of the Year nominees or winners, so they just all suck.
No, I played. What did I play? What did I play, Matt?
You played Death Stranding.
Yeah, Death Stranding. That was dumb. That has no business being that complicated and weird, but Kojima, whatever his name is all like, I'm gonna push the envelope. Like, I'm like, this is not even fun. It's not even fun. It's just weird.
Is that the game with
Norman Reedus?
Mm-hmm. Okay. You have
Yeah,
to save a baby?
Yeah, the baby acts as some type of detecting thing. So I'm like, you learn that really early on, so like minor spoilers. But it was dumb. The game mechanics were okay, but it's just weird. What else did I play? Sekiro, that's like Dark Souls. It's hard as crap. I was just like, I'm over this. I'm not even out of like the first area, and I'm dying like 30 times. I'm like, this is not fun. Like when you finally beat something, it's like not even satisfying. Like you die the next area and you have to do all that crap right over again. And I'm like, this
Alex,
is not fun enough.
you just need to apply yourself, man. Just devote your time and effort into the game. It's supposed to be one of the greatest games of the past year, man. You can do it.
Yeah, that's a dud. No, that was
Twitter.
Somebody got greased fingers in that, you know. No,
just think
man,
about how rewarding it'll be once you finally beat the game or get to the second level.
No, you know me, man. I'm not a quitter. I have 113 platinum trophies on my profile. No, man.
You could have 114 if you applied yourself to this game.
I am. I'm going for another one on something else. Not that crap.
You just have to get through the prologue.
And sad news is that also in this string of kind of lousy games, I told Clint that I've been playing Squadrons, and that is dull beyond belief. And it's so. It's a tranquilizer. Like, you think it's fun, like it's fun for the first half hour, but then it's like so repetitive, and like the flight mechanics are just not, they're not very fluid, honestly. Like, just to turn around, you would think there'd be a button to go like and just kind of do it real fast, but nah, they make you do the whole I'm turning now. And that's not fun at all. So I'm like, so if anybody wants to borrow that, be my guest. And then what else? And then I watched, as far as what I watched this week, I rewatched all of Mandalorian season 1. Still really good. Overall, I'd say 8 out of 10. Pretty solid. And then as far as watching, the only other thing I've done this week is I'm through episode 4 of Queen's Gambit. So that's okay. I still haven't made up my mind if it's good or not. I'd say if I had to rate it right now, I'd say a 7. It's Anya Taylor-Joy is awesome in this, but it just doesn't feel like there's a whole lot. It's like less is more. They just kind of work with the small amount that they've established that they have at their disposal.
I was going to say, like, you're like halfway through the season already.
Yeah, there's 7 episodes, so I'm over halfway through. So, I mean, I would recommend it. Watch it. It's not a lot that goes on. You have to have a decent attention span.
Cool.
And that's my week.
Great. Now I can't watch it because my attention span is horrible, man.
Yeah, you suck.
Yeah. I didn't watch anything, man. This was probably like the tamest week that I've had for watching stuff.
It's like I only watched 10 movies. We did 3 episodes of stuff.
We did actually watch all the Halloween movies on Halloween, though. So that was probably like the apex of my watching all the Halloween movies, excluding we didn't watch Halloween 3 because we just going to make it an all Michael Myers day. So we actually watched Halloween 3 the day before. But yeah, we watched all of them. It was like from 9 I guess 9 a.m. to 10. So
That should be the
10:30.
subtitle of Halloween 3, The Day Before.
The day before. Well, it's actually, I mean, the climax is Halloween on Halloween 3. So all their faces melt off. But that's what we watched, or at least that's what I watched. I watched a couple other movies on demand. The Black Christmas remake, which I kind of skipped when we had it at work.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I'm not sure if that means Ryan likes it or hates it, man.
That was one of the trio that I saw. I saw Playmobil the movie. Then the next week I saw Black Christmas. Then the next week I saw Cats. Not a good December.
That's a trifecta.
It's pretty weird. Like the twist they do from the originals at the end, it's just off, and it doesn't really make sense, and all the characters are dumb, and it was all stupid. I was not a fan. And then I watched I thought this movie, like I read it, it was called Patient Zero. It's got Matt Smith and Natalie Dormer in it and Stanley Tucci, and it's like,
I feel like I've heard of that.
And it's supposed to be, I don't know if it was in theaters or released, but literally this movie plays like a sci-fi movie. And I'm not talking about like the genre sci-fi. I'm talking about the channel sci-fi. It's straight up sci-fi.
Oh, so you saw tons of Harry Potter on there.
Yeah, and lots of commercials. 2-hour movie that's now 3.5. Thanks, commercials. But yeah, it's really like Matt Smith does this really horrible American accent. The script is super bad. The only redeeming fact in there is Stanley Tucci's in it, and he works with what he has, and he actually does a pretty good job. But it's for those three people being in a film, it's pretty bad. Now you can also say that Natalie Dormer kind of sucks. I don't really know what she's been in that's great. She had that Forest movie that came out 2 years ago. That is god awful. And
wasn't she the tree?
Yeah. She's the entire forest. She plays multiple trees, man.
I'm a tree.
Well, she marries Tommen, so I mean, she does have like some stint on Game of Thrones.
Yeah, her best part's when she gets blown up.
Boom.
Spoiler. But yeah, that was my watching. I am on here right now, so I'm gonna treat this as kind of a confessional moment. I played a few video games this week. I think I mentioned last week that I had been playing Rocket League. I can't remember if I mentioned that, but I played Rocket League, and they were having a Ghostbusters theme for the Halloween.
Yeah.
So I spent money and I actually purchased the Ecto 1. So now I'm driving around in the Ecto 1, missing all the balls, missing all the shots, being horrible. But at least I'm being Ecto 1, so that's cool. Now this is and Alex is going to look down on me for this. There was also another game this past week that was having a Ghostbusters event, and that would be the game of Fortnite.
Oh, boo! Boo!
So this man over here loaded Fortnite up and bought all the Ghostbusters skins and axes and backpacks. So now I'm
you sold your soul for what? $14.95?
Yeah, I think it was probably like $15, something like that. So
did you at least win a game in style?
No, I haven't won a game yet. I'm in like they had some weird event going where and plus the game's like completely changed now. There's so many different things. I'm like completely lost. I ended up getting like top 10 a few times, but I did not win or get in top 5 any that I played. But I'm going around in a Ghostbusters outfit with a proton pack on my back. So it's all good. And every now and when I shoot somebody, it makes a little like proton pack noise. So it's kind of dope. But that's all that I got. That's what I played this week. That's what I watched this week. Please forgive me for playing Fortnite. That is all.
Did you cross the streams?
I can't. There's no streams to cross. I would love to cross some streams, but I can't.
Oh well. Brian, what about you, man?
Well, I did not play any video games whatsoever because I still have work to go to.
Wait, what's that?
It's that thing where you deal with people in a restaurant during the election week.
I hope my pizza is democratic.
Dude, last couple days have sucked. Anyway, but no, We did. We finished rewatching Rebels for Mandalorian. So I watched the first episode, Chapter 9, so the 9th episode of Mandalorian, and then we finished rewatching season 2 of Fargo since season 4 is going right now. And then I thought we were gonna jump right into season 3 of Fargo. Instead, we're now watching Doctor Who for the first time. I'm watching it for the first time. So that's going to be a rabbit hole which I can not recover from.
You know, I had not realized how old Doctor Who was. I mean, I think this is older. We talked about this at some point. I know it. It's like even older than like Star Trek. It like goes back to early 60s, yeah?
Yeah, we're starting with Eccleston's revival season.
Okay.
We're through the stuff because I don't think I'm ready for I'm barely ready for new Doctor Who.
I don't think anyone has enough time to watch like the backlog of Doctor Who episodes.
Right.
But I do have a quick movie list for you guys. I watched the third remake, so the second remake, third House of Wax movie. Someone told me not to watch that movie, and they were right. Paris Hilton's performance is iconic. It's really, really not a good movie. I watched the third Evil Dead movie, Army of Darkness, which I thought was kind of great.
Yeah.
I actually bumped up my rating for the second film after watching the third one, because I think that those two work really well together.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday night, I watched The Great Train Robbery with Sean Connery, so that made me really sad on Saturday.
I know, man.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. Went to see Come Play in theaters, which I'll get to. We watched The Secret of Nim from 1982, the mouse movie. Yeah, it was fine. It was a little confusing, like an hour and 20 minutes. And I was like, this would be longer now. But it was interesting. Watched Roman Polanski's film The Ninth Gate with Johnny Depp, which was an interesting slow burn to nowhere. And then I watched the first half of the movie Man of the House with Tommy Lee Jones, which they're finishing up without me because I couldn't watch any more of it.
Wait, is it I thought Man of the House was the one with Sinbad.
I think
I don't know.
There's Man of the House with Chevy Chase. Back from like the 90s.
They're all it's a bad movie. So it's
like,
can
I say how random that selection is? Not that selection.
Yeah.
That one movie, that is out of left field.
Yeah, I don't know why that was a movie that got picked for.
Is that the cheerleading movie?
Halloween.
Yeah, he's like.
Oh, that is the cheerleading movie.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
They're in like witness protection, and he's like the cop or something.
Yeah, because they're like the
bodyguard.
University of Texas cheerleaders or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna tell us he watched House Bunny after that.
Ooh. So random.
Oh, and I'm actually managing to not keep up with because it's over, but actually making good progress on Lovecraft Country. So that's like the one show I've managed to get a couple episodes in.
What episode are you on?
Just watched 3. So not actually good progress, but
okay. Yeah.
It's okay,
Don't
Ryan.
worry,
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah. Because I'm on episode
that's why you need to keep
5.
playing that video game, Alex. Why'd you quit? Slow and steady wins the race.
You shut up, Matt. Nobody asked you.
That prologue must be a bitch.
No, I told Matt. I played it when I got it at Christmas last year. Got to this part, quit. That's usually what I do when I first get the game. Only play it for a little bit, come back to it months later, and then I just sweep through it. No, I got a fraction past the part that I had stopped at previously, and it was still equally as hard. And I'm like, forget this. I don't want this anymore. I'm gonna trade it in and get something for it. And I'm like, I'm done with this game. I like a challenge, but this game is not fun at all. I'm sorry. Dark Souls, if you're good at Dark Souls and this kind of game, hats off to you. I'm not doing this. I like a challenge, but this is crap. This is way too hard. Sorry, I had to rant.
It's okay. All right. Well, while you guys were doing that, I binge watched some more seasons of Schitt's Creek, which is still amazing. Love that show. And
There's not like a down episode in that show. Literally, I laughed my tail off every single episode.
You know, I keep avoiding the TV ads for that on Comedy Central because I want to watch it, but I want to go into it like fresh. Like I don't want to have any negative opinions of the type of comedy that they have in there. So I want to start that at some point. But
yeah, it's all on Netflix. Like all 6 seasons are on Netflix. So I do it that way because they're like 20 minutes long, and you just like, they're what, 13 episodes a season?
Oh, okay.
You just breeze right through it. And then I started Ghost of Tsushima, which is awesome, by the way. I'm trying to find foxes for some reason.
Oh man, that's an awesome little side quest.
There's nothing better in that game than petting foxes.
These are facts.
I just love how you pet it and then like you're like, okay, go away.
I know of its own volition. It's like, I'm done with you now. I'm running away. Now let me say, we are 3/4 of the achievement of people in this group who have played Tsushima. Matt, you need to get on this.
I was telling them, I'm gonna wait till I get my PS5, and then it'll be the game I play after Spider-Man, probably.
Yeah.
Yes.
So lucky you. I know. I'm gonna have to. I'm probably maybe not gonna be able to do next Wednesday's video because I'm gonna be like either camping out or I'm gonna be stuck on my screen. I'm gonna be like, guys, I gotta pay attention to something else.
He's gonna be on the corner, like trying to hustle people ready to pick up their pre-orders. Hey man, you really want that thing?
Hey man, I'll babysit your kids for a whole year free if you give me your PS5.
So if anybody sees Alex on the street corner, you'll know why. All right.
It's a different reason than usual. He's out there for a PS5.
Yeah, man. I'm surprised I haven't seen you out there. Not recently.
I probably need to be to pay for that PS5, man.
Yeah, man. That. Never mind. I'm done.
Well, it's still trading services, no matter how you look at it. So, are we guys ready for the news? What little there is of it? As always.
There's news this week. Who died?
Who's in?
Oh.
I know. Let's just go ahead and start that off. Just barrel through that.
All right. Segue. Sir Sean Connery has passed away at the age of 90.
Who?
Rip, Mr. Connery. Mr. Sean Connery.
Man. No, I had read that his son had come out and said that that Sean had not been feeling well for, he said some time. Who knows what that means? I'm guessing that means a handful of years, because
his wife came out and said that he was battling dementia for the past.
Few years. I didn't see that.
Yeah,
how many?
Wow.
I don't know. She didn't say the years, but apparently he was in a really bad spot. Like he wasn't. It was progressed pretty far. So that's why I hadn't seen him.
I remember a Screen Actors Guild, I believe he was at like 10, 12 years ago, something like that. And he looked so small and old then to me. And I was like, he looked okay, like for being, the age he was then. But I was like, he's got to be. Yeah, 90 is a decent age. They're like, hey, what'd he die of? I'm like, he was just up there. So,
He died of being 90 years old.
He died from living a very long time. That's why.
Right?
No, and I think we should go around and real quick, because I remember his page, posting like, what is your favorite Sean Connery movie, in remembrance of him. I don't know if I could pinpoint, it's probably got to be some James Bond. Dr. No is
no James Bond. That's too easy.
I know. Okay, so if I'm doing outside of James Bond,
favorite role, no James Bond.
I think an interesting movie that I don't think is talked about enough. It's a decent, not great movie. Is I can't remember the title, but he's a lawyer and Blair Underwood is in it. it's like an early 90s movie, and like where Blair Underwood is like accused of rape in Alabama or something like that, and
Alabama.
And Sean Connery's his lawyer, and I don't know, I forget the name of it, but that movie, I like that movie. I think that's not talked about enough, but I would say
Cause?
yes, that's it. Mm-hmm. I like that one. I don't think that'd be my favorite. I mean, if I'm going to say right off the top of my head, I would say Indiana Jones, Crusade.
Henry Jones Jr.
Yeah,
Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Junior.
Pretty. Yeah. Why not?
Mine is Darby O'Gill and the Little People. No one knows what that is. Just kidding. It's not it. It's actually what?
I was like, I don't know what that
really random.
No. If you got Disney Plus, it's on there. He's in Ireland. There's leprechauns. There's actually some really cool like effect shots considering it's from like the 50s or late 40s. So it's actually pretty good. But no, not really. If I have to like pick like, I guess a guilty pleasure, like a favorite movie of mine or that he's in is probably The Untouchables actually. Even though that's more of a Kevin Costner video, but I really love The Untouchables.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I agree with that. That's a pretty good selection.
His Oscar win.
Mm-hmm. There's only one. It's a good pick. Ryan?
Well, if I can't pick The Untouchables and I can't pick Indiana Jones, so those have been picked. I really like him in The Rock, but I think The Rock is secretly a James Bond movie, so I'm going to say I can't pick it.
Wait. Hold on. Did you just say you like The Rock?
You're an idiot.
Ryan just said he liked The Rock.
We have it on recording.
All right, continue, Ryan.
The Michael Bay movie. Dare I just bring Michael Bay into to diffuse the Rock situation? But no, I think a performance that I've seen this movie over and over and over again, and I absolutely love his performance in Hunt for Red October, even though it is probably one of the worst movie accents ever. I think there's something perfectly sympathetic and likable that he brings to every single character. And it's one of the reasons I really liked The Great Train Robbery, which we just watched. I'm like, the character is really awful, and yet there's something charming that's perfect about casting Sean Connery in it to make it a lead. And I think being the one with one of the bigger character arcs in that movie, he does such a fantastic job through a really bad Russian accent.
Yeah,
I can sympathize with that. I think we've all made good selections. I mean, mine's probably the most like obvious, like mainstream one. So your guys are more thought out ones. But Clint, your turn.
I actually have two, and I can't really pick one. One is First Night.
It's another guilty pleasure. I don't know how good that movie is. It's just fun to watch.
Yeah. I mean, Sean Connery is King Arthur. I mean, come on. And I know that he's not in this movie for very long, but he's the villain of it. Time Bandits.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
You don't know what
time? Oh my gosh.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
It's Terry Gilliam.
Yeah, that's next on your list, Alex.
Yeah.
Just add it to your list, sir.
I think we've established that I've watched probably for every one movie I've watched, you guys have watched like 6 to 10 movies.
That's probably an accurate statement, actually.
Isn't that on Disney Plus too?
I don't know.
Wait, what? Time Bandits?
Why do I?
Yeah, it's right there next to Artemis Fowl.
Shut up!
Oh, I don't have to say it.
There you go, Ryan.
I'm a little disappointed. Nobody decided to pick Zardoz as their favorite Sean Connery film.
Well, that's because
no.
Yeah, I will say.
Or Dragonheart.
Dragonheart.
Oh, that's actually a good solid pick. Yeah.
I will say one of my well, it's not one of my favorite performances from him, but one of the ones I really wanted to talk about was the fact that he's still good in 2003's League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, LXG, even though that's like the movie that made him quit.
Yeah, because he turned down Lord of the Rings to do it.
And I'm like, this guy had such an awful experience on League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and he still turns out the best performance in the movie.
Was he up for the role of Gandalf?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That'd have been interesting.
I forgot what else he turned down. He turned down, wasn't he supposed to be in like The Matrix or something too? And he turned that down.
Yes.
I think everyone was supposed to be in The Matrix.
And so he was just upset that he kept making all these movies that ended up being inferior to the ones that he turned down by a great deal.
Yeah, he turned down The Matrix and Lord of the Rings because he didn't understand them. I think that was like the famous quote that he had like in an interview. I think it was especially with The Matrix. He's like, I just didn't get it. So
understandable.
Yeah.
Matrix.
Oh well. All right. Well, speaking of James Bond, Lashana Lynn has said that her character as Naomi has taken up the mantle of 007 in No Time to Die. So this begs the question: are we ready for a lady James Bond? Oh, Ryan is.
I commented on the article today, and I was like, I'm not opposed to female action leads. Like I said, I don't think the character needs to be. If she's not, maybe she can be, I don't know, Bond-esque, but not totally like I'm James Bond or I'm whoever Bond. I don't know. It's maybe depending on how they do it. I don't think it would work out because this is when did the first James Bond come out? 1963. Yeah, I was gonna guess 67, but yeah. So we've had this for over 60 years, or just about 60 years, and I'm like, it's always been a suave, male lead. So it's just like. I just don't see it happening, but like I said, I'm not opposed to female. I like Kill Bill. I mentioned is like one of my all-time favorite movies. Awesome, both volumes. In fact, I actually think the second one's just a bit better. That's just me. And who doesn't like Black Widow? And there's like Hunger Games. So I'm not opposed to that. I just don't think it's good for the role. That's just me. That's what I'll say about it.
So what did she say? Like, is she got the 007 moniker, or she's getting a code name? Okay.
Yeah. So if you don't remember Inspector, he was like, I'm done and I'm going to marry, what's her name? His girlfriend. And so he walks away from it. And so because he's gone, and I think this is kind of in the trailer as well, she kind of, her character, Naomi, takes over the moniker of 007.
So it's just a red herring, and she ends up getting shot at the beginning of the movie, and then we just don't have to worry about it anymore.
I hope not.
It feels like they're throwing the idea out there so that if the movie, lands and people love that character, they can be like, oh, well, let's roll with this. And if they don't, they can be like, well, that's just what we're doing with the story. Now we can recast.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, I like the character. That's fine. It's okay. I'm just iffy. If they do it well, maybe I'll change my mind. Who knows?
All right.
They got to release the movie first.
Alex, I think I'm going to have to hard disagree with you. I'm totally on board for a female James Bond. We've had 25 movies with a white guy.
Yeah.
No, I always thought that like if you're trying to diversify it up, like Idris Elba, I always thought would be like a perfect James Bond. I mean, maybe around 2005-ish, like if he were that age now, maybe that would be a good pick. Like I would totally be down for that. And then another, I know it's a white guy, but Tom Hiddleston I remember was rumored to be James Bond at some point, but I don't think that ever is going to happen. But I thought that would be okay.
Maybe we just need to go super young, man, and just get Tom Holland. He's out there working.
No, man, he's busy making
it's
Uncharted.
Bond. James Bond.
Yeah, right.
No,
you joke, but I bet we would see that 15 years down the line. maybe.
I don't know. I'm with Ryan. I kind of see like this kind of happening. Like this world is changing in many different forms and ways, and I mean, Black Widow is like one like step away from being James Bond, literally. I mean, but I think you're right, Alex. I think Alba, like Idris Alba, would be a perfect James Bond. I think there's many fans that are like pushing for him to be James Bond. But I'm willing to bet Cavill kind of like takes this over. Something just tells me that they've probably already called him up and be like, "Hey, if you're not busy." So
yeah, I mean, I could see that. That's pretty cool.
Only if he brings a mustache to the table.
So they can edit it out.
I need my Bond with a mustache.
Speaking of him, I don't know if I shared the article with you guys, not to, segue my own news, but I remember reading that Netflix was getting sued about Enola Holmes, something about because Sherlock Holmes is
we shared this.
Did we? Okay, I couldn't remember.
Yeah, like weeks ago.
Did we? Oh.
Yeah.
I don't remember at all talking about that. That's why I found that so interesting. I was like, I don't remember that at all. Okay. So
I'm
it's
like
not
90.
news.
No, well, I'm 95% sure that we shared this because has feelings. That's the whole thing. And then I found out that later through other channels that I guess Arthur Conan Doyle's estate, he doesn't have like direct male heirs or whatever.
Yeah.
His estate just starts suing everybody that starts making like Sherlock Holmes movies for some reason, just to get money for it.
I feel like we did do this, yeah.
Yeah, and
It's
because he doesn't. Yeah, because he's more sympathetic in this version, and it's because he stopped writing Sherlock Holmes books for a while, and those books like went into public domain, so they can do whatever they want with them. But the ones where he starts to become a little bit more empathetic and sympathetic are his newer ones. It's just somebody's trying to sue Netflix for some stupid reason.
Oh, well, okay. I thought it was news to me because I didn't remember it. So,
yeah,
as you were.
Oh, thank you. So next up, John Boyega had a very transparent conversation with Disney about Star Wars. The only reason why I kind of brought this up is I kind of feel like he had this conversation with Star Wars because his character got cut a lot. And he was supposed to be like kind of like the new face of the Star Wars, and then Rey came about. I don't know. I kind of feel like this is just him trying to make waves with Disney and trying to be more transparent or whatever as far as Star Wars goes.
It's just a giant, pointing fingers game. They're like, hey, you ruined Star Wars by having, by making the character crappy. No, you made the character crappy by having a crappy movie, and just kind of goes around and around. So, I mean, I don't know. I've aired my opinion that I'm not crazy about, John Boyega's role in Star Wars. At first it was okay, and it just kind of got more useless as the series went on. But so I think I'm a little bit more sympathetic to him because they had no idea where they were going with this. So they just kind of threw something against the wall and nothing stuck, but they went with it.
Yeah.
They should have just killed them off in the second one. They had
That's what I said.
Great resolution to a character arc.
I said the exact same thing.
And that's kind of like how I feel about this. This is like he had this conversation like even before Disney started slamming all the movies and was like, hey, like my character was supposed to be this, and like my screen time got cut. And then I think he said that he had like conversation with him about Rose Tycho, like her character. I can't remember, Kelly Lee Tran or something. And like how her character got cut and like how Disney kind of ruined the diversity of it. And it's like, I don't know about Rose, but his character just like, it was just so poorly written. I don't think that's Disney's fault. I don't know. I think they're probably trying to get him back to kind of like save face for his character, I guess. That's my bet. Mandalorian season 3. There he is. So,
being recruited to the stormtrooper school.
right. Okay, so 2 quick things. The new Halloween teaser came out. Anybody seen it?
I watched a few seconds of it. It looked pretty cool. I'm totally stoked for it. I'm just bummed that we have to wait an entire year for it to come out.
Oh yeah, that's right. Ryan, what did you think? I didn't see it actually.
Dune, spacebar, everything else.
All right.
It's on the list somewhere down there.
Number 12. Next is Ted Lasso gets renewed for his 3rd season. I didn't even realize that it got renewed for a 2nd season. But Matt, did you finish it?
I did. It's just I don't have a bad thing to say about it. I thought it was a super solid show. I don't know if it's one of those shows where I think if they had 1 season and we're done, I would be fine with it. I think it works out. It does kind of end on a note where, there could be a 2nd season. And obviously you said there's going to be a 3rd, so they're going to make a 2nd one. So it's going to be, I'm hoping it doesn't suffer. I'm hoping it doesn't get old and they introduce some new characters and everything. But I really like the 1st season. I don't have a bad thing to say about it. And I would definitely, and I did last week, recommend that show to anybody if they want something fun to watch. I mean, you don't have to like soccer or football, if you want to call it that, to like it. In fact, the whole point of the show is that somebody's coming to coach soccer who's never coached soccer in their life and doesn't know what the sport's about. So it's kind of fun that way.
Oh man, it's like kicking and screaming, but with less Will Ferrell.
A lot less Will Ferrell. Okay, so next up we have Isabel Fuhrman is coming back to reprise her role as Esther in the Orphan prequel. And I'm going to turn this over to you, Matt, because a prequel, I would assume, was before she was a little kid, and yet she's older, and now she's in the prequel.
All right, so spoiler alert for anyone that hasn't seen the original Orphan. Have all of y'all seen Orphan before? Assuming no.
Yeah, when Clint started saying things related to this topic, I was like, I have no idea anything he's talking about. The person, the project, the time. I was like, I hope he's not going to call on me.
Well, I don't want to. It's only going to make sense if I ruin the movie. So I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'm never going to watch it.
So the whole twist to Orphan is that this family has adopted this Russian child, and she ends up acting all crazy and is trying to like seduce the husband and then murdering people. And it ends up, the twist is that she's not actually a child at all. She's like a 30-year-old woman who's been masquerading as a child. So in theory, the prequel makes sense with an older actress because she's already that age and they don't have to worry about her masquerading as a child. They can just use her. I think they actually put makeup on her and stuff too when she has that, climaxing turning point where you find out that she's older than she is. Because that movie is 10 years old, I think. So, and she was, I want to say she was probably, I don't know how old she was in that movie. I'm honestly not sure how old she is, but I think she was probably like 14 or 13 in that movie. So, but it should make sense. I'm actually kind of intrigued. I don't think it's a bad idea. I would not put in that in the why do we need this. I think it's a good idea. Hopefully it's executed. And obviously if they're getting her, it's something that she's interested in, not that she's been in anything recently. So what you got, Ryan?
She was born in 97.
Okay. So she was 13 or 12 in that movie. Probably 12 when it was being filmed.
Right.
So
okay.
I think it's good. I think it's interesting. Sorry I had to spoil that for you. I actually figured it out while I was watching the movie, so it's not that hard to get. So, but it should be interesting. I think it'll be fun. Hopefully it gets made.
I mean, is the movie any good?
It's not bad. But it's definitely, it's not more than a 6 out of 10. So.
All right. Well, Orphan getting your prequel. Some gaming news. Far Cry 6 has been delayed. And I don't know why they even bothered trying to put like a date on this. It says it will be released between April 2021 and March of 2022. So why didn't they just say
that's the greatest time frame ever? Yeah, our game's gonna come out sometime February 2021 to like March 2030. Sometime in that span, you'll be getting the game. Just so you guys can mark that span on your calendar of when the game might be coming out.
Over dozens of calendars.
Sorry, guys. We meant to say March 2021 to October of 2042. Sorry, guys. We had a little bit of a delay, we think. It might be coming out some point. Just be prepared. It could be any day now, or it could be in 2 decades. We're not sure, but we just want you to be excited about it. Hopefully the demo will drop soon.
And you'll get the free upgrade to the PS 20.
Oh, what's that? Oh, this just in. Sorry, guys. They changed the date again. It's actually February of 2022 to June-tember, which I guess they are assuming a new month's going to be made in 3042. So sometime in that span,
June-tember,
the game will be coming out, guys.
this is so dumb? Like, just say it's been delayed.
To be determined.
Yeah,
right.
Next year, and we don't know if they're talking about 2021 or 2022. Just be like, next year. That's all. Just say that.
Jesus. So dumb. Anyway, and that's the news. So unless you guys got anything,
Nothing big happening right now. I can't think of anything newsworthy.
I know, when I
some news. Hold on.
I tried looking up stuff yesterday, and I sent you guys some articles yesterday. I don't even remember what they were about. Like, I was like, this really is slow news week. Like, the only thing I can remember is that Apple TV is getting ported over to Xbox consoles. Like, that'll be available to download on the Series X and maybe the Xbox One and any other console, maybe starting next week on the launch, which I thought was interesting because I'm like, so you have that, and I can't remember if I have Apple TV on. Yeah, I must have it on my PS4, or maybe I can't remember. But Microsoft is getting a lot of, like, they've got the Bethesda thing, and now they've got Apple TV. So I mean, they're slowly building up, more repertoire of, companies, for lack of any other word. So it's not that interesting, but it's like, okay, I see you're acquiring all these people, so you can have a lot to showcase. Like, look what our system can do, since we now have these rights to do such.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've got news. I let my Apple TV subscription cancel, so I do not have it anymore. I watched one episode of that. I totally forgot. I watched one episode of that that Haley Stanfield show. What show was that? The one that you wanted me to watch. Dickinson. Yeah. It was interesting. It's got a weird tone for humor. It's quirky. Let me put it that way. It's just quirky. I don't know if I would have continued watching it. I might have gave it another couple episodes. I think it's got good reviews. So, I mean, people seem to like it. So that's my news. I just looked up a couple new things. Apparently Jordan Peele is set to produce the People Under the Stairs remake at Universal. Yeah. So he's got
Ryan.
Come on, man, Ryan. They got a list of movies. They're like, here, man, take a look at this list, see what you want to do, what's fresh. And he took a look at the list and was like, you know what? This People Under the Stairs one was kind of not like the greatest.
Isn't it People Under the Stairs? People Under the Escalators?
Yeah. It's Us Too. People Under the Stairs.
Us Too.
And then the second thing is that apparently AMC posted a $900 million loss last quarter.
I saw that too. Yep.
So, and Variety put up a very sensational headline that used the verb brutalized. So.
Well, I've been contributing. I don't know about you guys.
No.
I'm still in their A+ club or whatever. I don't think they've charged me though, since they stopped charging me in I think April or May.
Yeah, you have to renew it. You have to actually go and renew it, or it'll start automatically whenever major releases happen.
Because I've checked it a few times and it still lets me, I think, put passes on there. But like I said, I haven't seen a charge on my credit card for it recently.
Yeah, if you put the first pass on it, it will set it to renew.
Oh, okay.
This is what we did.
So, but yeah, $900 million, man. That's a lot of change.
Yeah. The vicious cycle continues.
The empty man did not bring in the monies for them. I'm sorry.
Nope.
Content. That's what we need is content.
Didn't you? Hey, what about you? Speaking of content, man, why don't you mention those Ninja Turtles?
Oh, they're coming back. Ninja Turtles is coming back for the 30-year anniversary. I'm so excited that I can't go watch it.
Yeah. I saw that in the theaters, man. I
sure
in the
did.
Theaters the weekend it came out.
And it is the best comic book movie adaptation ever. It goes a little off the rails with two. Do what?
Yeah.
I don't know how sarcastic that is.
A little bit.
I've never seen it.
I'm not sarcastic at all. That movie's great, man. It's a good movie.
You've never seen the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
No, I don't really want
and you've not seen Vanilla Ice and Secret of the Ooze?
Yeah, you're not selling it for me.
You're getting colder.
And you've not seen Turtles in Time? I think that's the name of the third one. I'm not sure.
Turtles in Time.
Probably.
Yeah, they go into like medieval China or something, and feudal China, and they become like actual samurai.
See, I never watched any of it growing up. I've never seen much about any of them or cared much about it. And so I found out these movies existed, and they looked terrifying. And I was like, I'll pass.
It's going to be your new favorite movie, Ryan.
I
think I got it on VHS somewhere. I'll let you borrow it.
I don't even know if I can play something on VHS.
I think it's on HBO, actually. HBO
yeah, right
Max?
next to his 8-track.
Hold on. I'll find this out for you, Ryan.
Does anybody... Am I the only person here that actually has a VHS player or a VCR?
No, I do.
I
Okay.
have one somewhere. It's buried somewhere, but I know I have one.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I mean, if it is coming back for its re-release, I'll probably just go see it in theaters.
Oh, it is on HBO Max. Booyah. There you go, Ryan.
Yeah, just get that free account.
I'll have a throwback.
We're going to start a list for you too, Ryan. Don't worry about it.
I know that's pretty rare.
No,
Starting
big
a list for Ryan.
Ninja Turtles 1, Ninja Turtles 2, Ninja Turtles 3.
I have a rule where if there's so many sequels, I just watch the first one. I've seen the first, like all the horror films that you watched, I watched the first of like every one.
That's all you need. Though I will say, with Ninja Turtles, you do need to see the second one. But Ninja Turtles 3 is a no-go.
You don't need to. Yeah. Just 1 and 2 is the only two that you need to watch. There's actually technically a fourth film that was straight to a VHS that features a girl Ninja Turtle.
That's true.
Venus de Milo or whatever. Can't remember.
Or you can just watch TMNT, which is the CGI version, and it's awesome too.
Actually, that movie's not horrible, like for a CGI Turtles film.
It looks so weird. I can't get past how some of these movies look.
I think Ryan just cranked it up on the oof meter.
Oh, I mean, I could barely get through the Michael Bay ones, and they don't look terrifying.
Yeah, they do. Those turtles look god awfully scary, man. They are scary.
They're huge.
But they're so CGI that I can at least get over the visual design. I was like,
oh no, man. This is 1990. This is practical effects where there are people in these suits and like the animatronic mouths move.
Those weren't real turtles?
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I had to break that.
Don't ruin the magic, Clint.
All I know is they look like the little Wookiee from the holiday special. every time they like smile, and I'm like, I don't like their teeth.
Well, if you look closely into their mouths, you can actually see the eyeballs of the puppeteers.
Oh, you're pitching a great horror film.
I didn't know that this call was going to be Ryan ruining my childhood. Thank you. First Secret of the Nim, and now Ninja Turtles. I'm nah.
Next is going to tell you Fievel has a horrible character arc.
Not Fievel. Fievel Mauschwitz.
Go watch American Tail, Ryan. Tell us what you think.
I was wondering what you were referencing because
I was like, I don't think he knows who Fievel is.
I know Fievel. Okay, I mean, I know Ninja Turtles, but that and what else were we talking about?
He mentioned Secret of Nim.
Secret of Nim?
No,
that's a really trippy movie. That's a dark film, by the way.
I was gonna say that when Ryan was talking about it. That was a dark animation. Like, that's scarring for kids.
The the sword fight at the finale is probably one of the coolest sword fights I've seen in any movie.
Hell yeah!
And this was like an 80s kids movie. I was really impressed with the fluid animation of that sequence. I mean, it's a good movie.
There's another movie with that same type of animation, and it's
John
like
Bluth.
woodland, huh?
It's John Bluth. Yeah,
Bluth. Yeah, that's right.
He does American Tail and like All Dogs Go to Heaven. Those are the other ones.
Also super dark.
Yeah.
There's another one with like woodland creatures, and I remember there's like a super like. I remember that being really scary as a kid. A scene where they're in the woods and it's dark, and like there's a big old like barn owl somewhere, and it like I'm gonna have to look this up later, and I'll try.
No, that was Nim, wasn't it?
Yeah, that sounds like Nim.
Are you
That
sure?
sounds like-
Because
Yeah, that's Ryan.
Maybe.
He just watched it.
Yeah, the big creepy owl, and it's got like the head, and it's backwards, and then it slowly turns around.
yeah, it's a white barn owl.
Oh,
Okay.
Wait.
I mean, because
No,
I
think it was
remember
brown.
Secret in.
yeah, you're right.
Okay, maybe it is the same owl, and I'm just thinking it's. I don't know. It's probably that. So okay, that movie's good, but it's scarring to kids. There's some scary parts that aren't intentionally scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, American Tail is on my list. I have the soundtrack.
And then you can watch Fievel Goes West.
Nope.
I think that one's better.
The last movie that Jimmy, what was his name? His name just left my head. It's a Wonderful Life. No.
Jimmy Stewart.
Stewart.
James
there
Stewart.
it is.
Oh
James
yeah.
Stewart. Yeah,
Jimmy
that's
Stewart,
his
yeah.
last movie. Last movie
Mhm.
before he kicked the bucket.
Yeah, he was the old hound dog.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
So.
And there's like 10 of those. And then you can watch like all 10 of the Land Before Time
Times.
movie.
Yeah.
No, don't talk about Land Before Time because Matt's going to tell you a fun fact that's not fun.
I don't think that's not appropriate for the podcast. I will not drop that fun fact. But just go look up the Land Before Time Wikipedia. I'm sure all those fun facts will be on there for you.
You're-
They sure are.
If I say I haven't seen any of those, am I just gonna get kicked out?
Well, you only really need to see the first one. And and I'm pretty sure I have the VHS laying around here somewhere if you wanted to check it out.
Wow.
I'll add it.
I would second that, Ryan. I
Add
would
it to the
say
list.
You have to watch that one at some point in your life.
And bring a box of Kleenexes because you ain't going to be ready for it, man.
I know how sad it is. I already know everything about it. I've rated it apparently.
Yeah, it's emotional. It gets you right there.
Right in the ticker.
Yeah.
All right. Any more news?
I got
Solid.
nothing.
All right. So this week we watched.
American Tail doesn't even have like good ratings. Sorry,
Wait, what doesn't have good ratings?
American Tail's got like a 38 out of 100 on Metascore.
It's just a nostalgic film, and it's got like a
Yeah.
really good song.
There
But-
are no cats in America.
Okay, I'm sorry. But
It's a Somewhere Out There song.
Oh yeah, that one. I forgot about that.
Okay. I'm going to dub this Ryan ruining my childhood on the YouTube channel.
I'm pretty sure I got that VHS of The Land Before Time from Pizza Hut. I don't know if that sounds. Yeah, they used to like sell VHS tapes.
I'll second that because I remember you said Pizza Hut. Yeah, Pizza Hut. I remember did like they gave away game demos. I remember like they did Spyro and Crash Bandicoot like back in like the 90s. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
I have a DVD of Honeymoon in Vegas with Nicolas Cage from Pizza Hut.
Would you just find it in the parking lot?
Probably where it belongs.
right next to City of Angels.
Oh my God. Okay, we're moving on.
Don't open that can of worms, man. We don't have another 3 hours to record.
He's like, I don't want to get worked up before bedtime.
Right. Need to go to bed. Anyway, stupid Meg Ryan. Anyway, so we watched the premiere episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian. I don't even know how to describe it. He is still chucking Baby Yoda around with him, and he goes back to Tatooine looking for another Mandalorian. Who could that be?
And he finds him, and they take Baby Yoda to his people, and they all lived happily ever after. The end. Season was great.
Well, we know Matt's prediction now. Pretty on the nose.
How are we going to rate this first episode? I give this kind of a 9. Doesn't really push the story. I think the only reason why I took the point off because it doesn't really push the story forward. It's just one of those. It felt like a filler episode, a cool filler episode, and a lot of callbacks to like the Star Wars expanded universe with great dragons, sand people, and stuff like that. But my point is taken away because it doesn't really push it forward very much.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you too. I think I think it saved itself a little bit with that. I think I would definitely. I think I'm going to give it an 8. Just because of the story aspect, it was fine. Timothy Olyphant played that character that he always plays in his best works. Great. But yeah, that story didn't really go anywhere. But I think they saved themselves a little bit with that by actually saying this was like episode 9 or chapter 9 or whatever. So it wasn't like, a new section for a new story. It was just like, all right, we're picking up. It's not season 2. This is just a continuation of what you've seen so far. So I just look at it from that aspect. But yeah, I mean, it probably was more of a 9, but just personally, I just want to give it an 8 just because I didn't get that story that I wanted.
Yeah. Ryan, go ahead.
I was going to say, I had pretty similar. I think overall I wanted to give it probably around an 8. I try not to rate individual episodes, so it's tough to know like how it will factor in. Because I think in last season there were a couple episodes that I didn't care about and some I liked, and by the end of the show I felt very differently about them. But yeah, I mean I liked the episode as a whole. I liked a lot of the treatment of Star Wars more. That stood out to me a little more even than what the episode meant for the overall show, based on it being episode 9. Some pretty good stuff.
I think, I don't know. So before my rating, yeah, I agree with you, Ryan, that there are like 2 episodes in the middle of the first season that are, other than like one detail, are really kind of very, very filler. They're not needed whatsoever. I mean, it's honestly, whatever. Like, this is just to bide us some time to get to the end. So I agree with that. But I think I'm the only one who's going to give this, I think I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I loved this episode. I don't think the story aspect is that, I'm not that picky about it because it is the first episode of this new season. Or if you want to look at it, for what it is, it's really just like the continuation. So it just feels like an extended season 1 rather than season 2. So I'm not going to be that picky about it. I like the dark tone of this at first because, I mean, if we're going to say a little bit of the episode, like the details, when he comes out of
spoiler alert for anybody. That was our rating. Go watch it. It's fun. Now we're going to talk about the episode.
Spoiler.
So, he leaves the or before he even leaves the skirmish in the boxing area. I had to rewind it a couple times because I thought it was so cute when he's charging up that little blaster thing to get those guys who have all got blasters pointed at him, and Baby Yoda's like boop, so he can hide himself. I thought that was so great and cute. I mean, who doesn't love that? So that was cool. And then when he captures that guy, hangs him up on upside down on the pole, and he's like, you're not going to die by my hand. And he's like, and he turns out the light, and there's all those like dark, red-eyed creatures that are coming out. And he's like, yeah, I didn't say by my hand. And then he lets those things happen. And I'm like, how often does that happen in Star Wars? I like that darker tone. Like, I don't want it, people to die every episode. That's not the point. But I like that edgier feel. It just didn't feel like traditional Star Wars in a good way. So I like that. And then I like the Sand people. What's their actual name?
The Tusken Raiders.
Tusken Raiders. Thank you. I couldn't. They're traditionally seen as pretty dumb and just kind of like sand people, and but I liked how they looked more intelligent and strategic as a race or group, whatever. And I found sympathy for them in that battle towards the end. I was like, that's pretty cool. I like how they teamed up with them, and it was like strategic. And I love Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian is like phenomenal. I think he's graceful and elegant, but at the same time tough and like methodical and strategic. So it just continues, and it's all great. And that battle is with that giant worm snake thing, I thought was great. It was paced. I thought it was great. I thought it was paced well. I thought, shots were good. Like they weren't, honed in too long. And, it's a simple strategy, but I liked it. What's up?
Great dragon.
Oh, whatever.
You mean that sandworm thing?
Yeah, that sandworm thing.
No.
I totally forgot that you said it.
I love Tremors.
Yeah, that's right. I kept thinking I kept laughing to myself. I was like, oh man, where's Kevin Bacon in here?
I'm sure he'll show up in a later episode.
Probably.
Awesome.
I'm just gonna keep calling it a giant worm thing,
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna be that guy. But anyway, I liked that whole battle scene. When you boil it down, the whole concept of blowing it up and then, eventually putting the bombs inside of it by having it eat a bantha, pretty simple, but it's effective, and I liked it, and it didn't drag on, and I thought it was just a great episode. And I'm not I'm not picky about the story, and I saw the TV ad for it after I'd watched the episode, and I'm like, if this is an indication along with the TV ad of like clips from different episodes showing us what we're gonna be seeing, I'm like, if this is a taste of what we're gonna get, I'm really excited for the rest of the season. I don't know where they're gonna go. I mean, his whole quest is basically just get Baby Yoda back to his people, and who knows if that's gonna happen by season's end. But I loved the first episode. I thought it was really good. And then obviously there's that the whole Boba Fett armor, which I thought was weird that Jawas just randomly have that. I'm like, is there explanation for that? I mean, I don't remember.
Possibly that last shot of the film or of the episode.
I was gonna say, I think you got to follow it. It's a little silly, but I think they were trying not to do it too heavy-handed with the reintroduction there, because in it's either the Battlefront 2 campaign or it's Inferno Squad, the book. They reference that they found that set of armor was somewhere on a sandcrawler, and then in one of the Aftermath books, which is where you meet the character Cobb Vance, it's mentioned. And I was like, you kind of just have to track the little things of like, oh, it went from here to here to here real quick. But these aren't things that are necessarily that important, to take focus away from whatever they're in. So I think we'll probably find out a little bit more because of that last shot that you just mentioned, Matt. But I assume he just kind of ditched it.
Yeah.
Alex, do you know who that was?
Who was? What?
The last shot of the episode?
You guys kept mentioning it, and I was like, I don't remember. Yeah. The while he's riding across, and there's a dude in the black robe, and he turns, and it's a bald dude. No, I didn't know who that was.
That's Boba.
Exile.
Who?
Boba.
It's Boba Fett.
Oh, I had no idea. I mean, I'm not totally. Yeah, I'm.
Okay.
Probably. It's probably Boba Fett. It's I mean, 95% chance that was Boba
now,
Fett.
Is that like you have to be a hardcore Star Wars fan to know that, or
it's the actor who plays Jango Fett?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. I had no idea. I didn't know who played Jango Fett.
Well, you see his face.
Okay. So
I didn't remember.
He's a little more old and weathered now, but it's definitely him.
Okay, then that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen that one, and I don't. I didn't remember what he looked like.
Okay, so to fill some gaps for you, Alex, Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones is the basis for all the clone troopers.
Yeah, he's the model for like Boba Fett being a clone and such. Yeah, I knew that.
Right.
I just didn't. I didn't remember what he looked like.
Yeah, that was his payment, is that he could have a son that is not genetically aged, because I think the clones are age 5 years for every one. So Boba actually ages normally, and so that was Boba Fett. So that's
actually pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's his armor that the marshal, I can't remember his name, Vance has.
Cobb?
Cobb Vance. So what Ryan was saying is, like, in the books, the Aftermath book, I think he actually shoots Boba for that armor and like steals it. So that the whole story that he tells in the episode is either going to be retconned, which is basically means that they're just going to like do away with whatever they said in the book, or he's lying. So, because in the book he shoots like another person for the armor, and you kind of understand who it is. It doesn't really say who it is, but the only other thing that I was going to mention about his armor is it's not complete. If you guys look at it, it's actually not complete. It's just the breastplate, his helmet, and his jetpack. So a lot of the stuff for his armor is actually not there.
Yeah, it looked like some parts were missing. I could tell that. But I am showing how much of Star Wars lore outside of the main movies that I know, which is very little.
Yeah, it's okay.
Well, so my favorite little nod, I don't know if any of you guys picked up on it. Did you guys get the pearl that they pick up?
Yeah, what is that supposed to indicate?
So in the Knights of the Old Republic video game, if you beat a Great Dragon on Tatooine, one of the rewards is a pearl that you get from it. And like, I also thought it was kind of funny because like the only freaking way to beat it is to just throw a ton of mines down. The only way I ever beat it, and that's like, I like how they try it, and it's not at all. It doesn't work at all.
Yeah. So there it is.
So that's more or less just a nod to a game that's not like got huge story aspects.
It might, maybe
it might
story. I don't know.
Well, I think after KOTOR, like they put it in like some book that it was like the Tusken Raiders use it for money or for some sort of purpose, but they use it for something. I can't remember what it was.
Well, we could see, because if they come back and to that episode, like, you know how they did in the first season, they came back to a lot of the settings from previous episodes. They could, make that relevant somehow. So maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah. I don't know. And his speeder bike is actually a pod racer, if you notice.
I thought it was, but I wasn't 100% sure. I thought maybe it was just like some type of hybrid. But I was like, that's pretty cool.
I thought it was kind of a stretch. I've heard like that it's specifically Anakin's. I thought that was a weird stretch. I didn't think so either. I thought it was cool that it was a pod racer.
I thought that too when I first seen it. And I was like, isn't that Anakin's pod racer? Then I looked it up and the colors and stuff don't match. So
Yeah, that'd be a little silly 30 years later.
yeah.
Yeah, because I remember what Anakin's was like more. I totally forget, but it was like more brown, and what he had like kind of a maroonish looking one in the episode.
I believe Anakin's turbines were yellow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember some yellow in there.
Yeah. So, so anybody got any predictions on where this is going to go?
I mean, I enjoy how this show, I think one of the more interesting things about it, and I know I kind of, personally deducted a point just based on how episodic this standalone, this one episode felt. But that's one of the things I love about this show is how serialized it seems, where like every episode seems to be its own little thing, and they'll connect them. Maybe, if you're lucky, you'll get a piece of info that goes to the whole arc every now and then. So I'm assuming that's how this one's going to go. If I was a betting man, and this is just strictly how I was going to say, I'm pretty sure they're not going to find any adult Yodas anytime soon. In fact, they're probably going to figure out where they're supposed to be and then get there at the end of the show, and they're probably not going to be there. If that's how I would do it. There'll be a lot of standalone episodes. I'm sure Baby Yoda will get in some trouble, and the Mandalorian will have to go and get him. But that's probably about it. I don't think there's any way you could tell like what kind of crazy things. I know you guys are all up to date with all the literature and the legend aspects of it, so you probably have a better idea. But as far as just traditional storytelling goes, that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. Knowing how this episode dealt with bringing in information that already existed, because I was expecting it to kind of. I mean, we were talking about it a couple weeks ago how we were worried it was going to get carried away with all the casting the rumored casting. I think it'll be a lot like this, where we'll get a character that we know, but we're kind of re-meeting. We get a little bit of a reintroduction, a story for the episode, something that might connect, but probably not a detour anytime soon. At least until like episode. Whichever episode Dave Filoni is directing, I think 7 or 8, 6 or 7, something like that.
Yeah, that was the one thing about this episode. Like I say, I wasn't nitpicking about it, but at the same time, like you have nothing to go on. But at the same time, it's just the first episode. Now, did they say is it said how many episodes? Is it supposed to be 8 again, or is it 10?
I'm sure it'll be 8 again. I don't see why it would be any longer.
All right.
Or any shorter for that matter.
Can I say, what is it with Disney and being able to produce really good, like, in-between content? Like, I love Rogue One. Like, that's one of my favorite recent Star Wars movies. Really one of my favorite Star Wars movies ever. And then you got this, that's kind of an in-between. When I watched season 1 for the first time, I did not know that it was supposed to be after episode 6. I thought it was before everything. Like, I thought this was well before anybody's time. I thought that's why Baby Yoda was a baby, because it was actually Yoda. That's why I thought that at first. But then I read about it more and more, and then I was like, oh, and that makes sense because they're doing this in the show and this in the show. So they kind of make it known without going, hey, we're like making it super blunt. But it's still an in-between thing. I don't know what it is that Disney is doing. Maybe it's because of the people behind the project. I mean, Jon Favreau, he's proven to be a good key guy to starting just about any project he's part of. So I do have a question. Now, when they end every episode, they show like illustrations of a lot of the scenes you just watched. Now, were those created before this by somebody else?
That's the art department. That's how when they're figuring out how they want to do the episode or like how they want it to look, that's what they'll draw up just to get an idea of what those are supposed to look like.
Now and Jon Favreau didn't do any of that. He just wrote the story based on what that looked like, right?
No, he did not. If anything, he probably did like a little sketch maybe just to show what he wanted. But that's the art department just painting up and going, hey, this is what it's going to look like, or this is what we're trying to get it to look like. And he goes, oh, wow, that's good. Yeah, that's what I wanted. And that's what
okay. Yeah, so pretty cool. I like those.
Concept art.
Yeah. Yeah, so I would have been like, okay, that's pretty cool how that had already existed, but that's not the case here. So, but it's still really cool. I don't know what it is that they can't get right with the main trilogies, like the most recent one, obviously. And they can't get right there, but they can get right with these. I don't know. It's just weird.
Like you said,
expectations.
The in-between ones seem to be great, and I loved the one in between the first and last of the new trilogy. That was a little cool.
I'm blanking. Like my brain is not thinking. What? Which one are you talking?
Last Jedi.
Oh, that's gross, Ryan. Why would you say that?
It's almost, and we've said this, and I think this will become a mantra of the show, is it's because they just keep it simple. That's what they do. They just keep it simple. And when they start trying to overcomplicate things and they try to like appeal to everybody, that's when they mess up. If you just keep it simple, it's entertaining. That's all they need to do. You're in a Star Wars universe, just keep it simple.
Well, yeah, I agree. And I think it's expectations as well. Because, I mean, when they said, like, Rogue One was coming and they were like, oh, what is that? And they were like, well, this is between episodes 3 and 4. And this is how they get the plans for the Death Star. And they're like, okay, that's kind of interesting to see. Like, because nobody has, like a map for that. And then you have Solo, which had some sort of map. And so that's why there was a little disappointment with that. And then with the sequel trilogy, it's like, okay, these are supposed to be like the Skywalkers, and this is nothing like that. And so I think, like you said, Matt, with like this, with the Mandalorian, they're going back to what, like the practical like effects and like the simple story and stuff like that. And it's not overly complicated, and it's literally something that somebody wants to see.
And I think you can also tell, like, in this show, and even like maybe not Rogue One, but I think in Solo too, that I feel like they were having fun, or they're having fun when they're making it. Like all the other, like the sequels, no one looks like they're having fun. They all look like they're out there like just going through the motions and doing their thing. This looks like something they're actually proud of, and they're actually having fun doing it. And I think that shows in the work, and I think that makes it more entertaining to watch.
Yeah, to that point, I even mentioned it in text to Clint. I was like, going back and watching before season 2, I was watching all the episodes. And I was like, I've made, not my displeasure, but like, you know, obviously I'm not the biggest fan of Thor Ragnarok, you know, but the Taika Waititi directed episodes, Waititi, whatever, episodes directed in the first season, I actually think were the best episodes. And I totally forgot about, in the last episode of season 1, there's that exchange between the stormtroopers that's just kind of like off, not off the wall, but kind of off the wall. And it's like stupid, but it's really funny. Like, you know, they're shooting at some random like pot or something, and they're obviously missing. And it's like a little nod wink, little, you know, cheek and tongue thing. Like, yeah, we know, you know, the stormtroopers are terrible. You know, we're going to make you aware that we're aware. So it was that's to your point, Matt, that they're having just kind of fun, and, you know, they're making it really simple, you know, and I'm like, okay, so that's why this is working. They're not trying to please everybody. They're just going out there and doing their thing. And it's showing to be effective, because first season, I would say I'd give an 8. I didn't spectacularly, I did not love it, but I enjoyed it enough to, like, I'm really excited. And then I love this first episode. So we'll see where it goes.
Well, I guess that begs the question. I mean, how large into the Star Wars universe do you think this is going to go?
I don't know. I don't really have a guess. I'm really just here for the ride. I'm going to just take me wherever you're going, man. I'll hit, you know, I'll just jump on in the back seat.
Well, the reason why I ask is, like, the first season feels very self-contained. Like, this is a very straightforward story. And Dave Filoni has a tendency to make his series more expandable the further it goes in.
I think it's going to keep being self-contained. And it's going to be kind of like you're driving a car through the Star Wars universe, and you're going to see sights and scenes everywhere, and you're going to meet people, and you're just going to wave at them as you go by. They'll be in your story this one episode, and then you won't see them again. You might see them later, maybe in the next season. But I think that's pretty much how it's going to go. But like you said, expandable. I completely feel, especially with Timothy Oliphant, I mean, you could make a series with him on Tatooine, I think, if you wanted to. You could easily do a series with him on there, and I think it would be super fun. I mean, would it be like Deadwood? Yeah, probably. But still, it'd be great.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, because like we still have Ahsoka that's coming up. You know, whoever Sasha Banks is playing, I think that's her name.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is gonna. I personally think that this is gonna probably expand just a little bit further with this season, and I think that we see Ahsoka probably mid-season, maybe by episode 6. She's gonna take, you know, Sabine needs to come in. Sabine Warren is a Mandalorian that's wielded the Darksaber at one point. So yeah, I think there's going to be drops and hints of like characters from episodes, and then probably by the end of season 2, we'll probably see a larger universe. So I hope that they don't like drag the Jedi too far into this, because I think that it needs to stay.
It's like it needs
that.
to stay. It needs to run on its own merits. Like it doesn't want to. It shouldn't involve
Right.
too much of stuff we've already seen. Like establish what it's already established. Like keep going with that. Don't involve too much, because then those expectations get a little
Yes, like you
skewed a
said,
little bit more.
everything just gets too complicated. We already got enough
Yeah.
stuff that we don't know a lot about, and we're trying to figure out. You don't have to introduce way more things and have them be like standard in each series or in each show. Like, tell us more about the Mandalorians. Tell us more about Baby Yoda. Tell us more about the characters that you've already, you know, seen from the first season if you want to. But just don't keep, and especially something like the Jedi, you don't really need to. I mean, if you're going to do that, that needs a whole season in on itself. You're going to have to like start that in season 3, season 4, because there'll probably be a season 4. You know, there'll be a season 4. But yeah, that I just take it slow, keep it simple, and you know, it'll be good. It'll be fine.
Well, I have a theory that they're probably going to backdoor like Ahsoka's pilot through this. And I think that that's, like you said, like with Cobb Vanth and whatever, like he could do his own show on Tatooine. I think that they'll probably backdoor like her pilot through this and see how people like her, like Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, and see where that goes. And then like have that be focused on the Jedi and things of that nature, where this, I just want it to stay like bounty hunters and like the seedy side of Star Wars and stuff. And I think that's what people are like want.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned the elephant in the room. I know we talked about it about news like probably about a month ago, but how Mr. Pedro Pascal doesn't want to be like in the show anymore. He just wants to do the voice, or at least they've come to the conclusion that you can just do the voice work. That's it.
Yeah.
And I think, and because that happened this, I guess, while they were filming this season, obviously, I guess towards the end of it. But you know, from what I'm seeing, like with this episode and his connection with like Timothy Oliphant, I can completely understand Mr. Pascal's like issue with not getting any FaceTime. Obviously, you hear his voice, he's in the outfit, but nobody sees him, and then he has to go to work every day, you know, and be with these guest stars or these people playing these, you know, larger than life characters, and no one knows who you are, but they're sitting there like, you know, stealing the show. He even he's got a CGI or a puppet, you know, sidekick that takes some shine off of him too. And he still didn't, you know, no one sees his face. He's got to go there every day in the hot sun, put on that armor and walk around. And all people do is hear his voice. And I completely understand the man for like being sad. I don't think the Mandalorian ever should take off his helmet. So that sucks that he's in that role. But at the same time, I understand where he's coming from. I think that's a lot especially for an actor that wants to be successful. That's a lot to put on their shoulders and a lot of work. And if they're going to give him the opportunity and it works for him just to do the voiceover, after seeing this episode, I think that's completely fine.
Yeah, I second that. I think that's a legitimate like complaint.
Which is funny though, is because I seen like an article like a few weeks later saying that the complete opposite.
Oh, really?
There was like some article that came out like a few weeks later that kind of just like said that it was like something was blown out of proportion, and that he did walk off, but it wasn't because of that, and that Disney and Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau kind of like sat him down and was like, "This is what the show is going to be. Are you going to be okay with this?" And he said, "Yeah, it's fine."
Well, if that's the case, that's good. I also think I'll stick by that. I mean, I don't think as an actor, and I could be wrong, and you know, this might offend any actors out there. I don't think him in there, especially not seeing his face, I don't think he brings anything exclusive to the movements and action of the character. I haven't seen anyone else do it, possibly. I don't know, because I don't know who's in the suit the entire time. But I think if it was just him doing the voice, I don't think that would be detrimental to the character. But
yeah, especially if somebody else is like doing some of those stunts every, you know, I'm like, yeah, what's the point? So I totally understand if that beef that he has is true.
Now the only other thing, and this is, you know, I'm saying this, and the other side of that coin, and I guess I didn't really think this through, or when I made this initial statement, I guess it makes a difference when they're filming too, like, because that's who his co-stars are interacting with, is they're interacting with a talented actor too, because you know when he's on the screen he's actually saying those lines. They're doing them in post, obviously, but he's also saying them on set when he's interacting.
Yeah, in a different way, kind of, you know, not edited, obviously. Yeah.
So I mean that's a huge deal too. So maybe that could take some shine, or at least make the interactions between the other characters worse if he's not in there. So I guess that's the other side of the coin, if he's not actually in the suit the entire time.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I was gonna say, I could see them moving to the point where if this show does end up going more than a couple seasons, which by popularity I think it might, where we'll get to the point where we don't. I mean, not that I want this, but we could potentially get to the point where we don't have him wearing his helmet at all times, because I mean it's definitely the way now, but like I want to know when that became the way, because we've not seen any Mandalorians in Star Wars.
That's true.
Who wouldn't take their helmet off.
That's true. You never know. I mean, that would be an interesting side point. Like if something happens between him and the Mandalorians, or you know, that's part of the plot. Like,
yeah, I want to see more Mandalorians, and they're all like, "Wait, why don't you take your helmet off?" And he's like, "What?"
But yeah, because I mean, and to your point, Ryan, it's like with like Star Wars, Clone Wars, and Rebels and stuff like that. Those helmets are off all the time, and that was like one of my questions during like this first season. I was like, why is this a thing now? Like I didn't understand like why this seems to be a thing, but yeah, because
it's because they're all clones, and they don't want to show that, or that secret to get out.
Right. It's probably true.
Yeah, and I totally, I mean, it's only related because Pedro Pascal is also in it, but I did not know that he was actually, and we probably said it and I just don't remember, but he's actually in Wonder Woman 84. And I don't know how major his character is, but I wonder if that's going to play any factor to his involvement, or not lack, but that toned down, like I'm just going to be the voice. I wonder if that's going to have any influence, you know, depending on the success of the movie is what I really mean.
His character is like a second-rate Lex Luthor, so I don't.
Yeah, and they filmed it like 20 years ago, so I think they're past that now.
Yeah. I think when he gets a big role that's not the bad guy, that'll be more conversation. But right now he's had a lot of just the bad guy kind of roles.
That is true.
So, all right.
Did you guys know, and I don't know, Alex probably didn't know, that guy that gets hung up on that lamppost at the end that gets eaten by those red-eyed animals is actually John Leguizamo.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're going to have all sorts of cameos in this show. I know it. People are like, oh, man, this show's good. And they're just calling their agent. They're like, hey, man, can you call Disney and see if I can get on that Mando show, please? Get me on that Mando show.
I didn't recognize him because he wasn't a Super Mario brother.
Yeah, man, it was Luigi.
He was green.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, I should have put it together.
Oh, well. All right. You guys have anything else for Mandalorian season 1 or season 2? Sorry.
It's a fun show. I don't see how anyone could not like this show. I mean, obviously, I guess if you don't like Star Wars, but if you even like, think Star Wars is okay, you gotta love this show. It's just fun to watch. It's fun.
That's kind of where I say I'm like casual, and I think it's fun. I like it a lot.
Bring on the Jedi. That's what I say.
And the theme song is super dope, man.
Yep.
Super dope. Says, I'm sorry, Ryan.
I think it's a little too rocky for me still.
Too rocky.
It's growing on me, but it definitely doesn't help that it's the composer who did Creed, and the orchestration is very.
I'm not gonna, I'm gonna think about that every time now. Thanks, Ryan. I'm gonna be like,
yeah, no, it drove me nuts in the first episode of the first season, or one of the first 2 episodes of the first season, when he's like riding on the thing and it's like playing the music, and I was like, oh, this is when Rocky's running up the steps.
Welcome back to another episode of Ryan Ruins Everything. We love you, Ryan.
I like the music. I've been listening to it a lot. I actually like that it doesn't like flow with a lot of the other Star Wars music. Like, it doesn't sound like it's just people trying to do John Williams. So I like that it's different. It just also sounds like Rocky.
I think I'm indifferent. Like I'm more, I think I lean towards liking it more than disliking it. It's, if you had something else, I'll hear it. I don't hate it. It's just there. I mostly just skip the introduction anyway.
What's funny is I hear the good, bad, and the ugly. That's what I hear.
I could see that.
I can hear that.
I get that vibe.
I don't. I want to listen to it now. I want to compare it in my head.
Every time he watches Mandalorian, he just feels like going and working out.
There's no whistling.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I mean, I have the good, bad, the ugly soundtrack, so now I want to listen to it and watch Mandalorian. I'm going to listen to it Friday before I watch Mandalorian.
There you go.
You're just gonna replay that first, however minute and a half, and be like, I don't get it.
Oh, I can see it. When you're getting to like the showdown and it's like the building tension and stuff. Yeah, I can see that.
It's like you put that whistle, that faintish whistle, in your head. You kind of add it yourself, and I could see that.
Yeah, it's like if you take out like all the vocals, then
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very spaghetti western to me. All right. Anything else on The Mandalorian? Okay.
Nope.
Well, this is where we come to the show where we torture ourselves in this dilemma. Oh, Ryan has something.
I totally forgot I saw Come Play. I'll be real quick.
Oh, right.
I don't have that much to say about it. It's fine. That's why I forgot.
You interrupted me for that?
Wait. It was okay. Okay.
I mean, it's if Empty Man's not your scene and you don't want 2.5 hours of slow burn horror, it's got some jump scares. It's got a good aesthetic. It's got some unique themes. It also can't decide what really it wants to be as far as themes go. It's got like this great undertones where it's dealing with this kid and kind of a thematic tie-in with how autism deals with communication and his relationship with his mother. And I was like, that's great. And then it's like, oh, but also phone screens and society. And I was like, that isn't great at all. They don't work well together. And there's one element that tries to work the two together. And I think it totally undermines a lot of the themes. It's perfectly entertaining. I thought, dang it, forgot her name, Britta from Community. I thought she was kind of bad. Jillian Jacobs.
Yeah. Thank you.
She had great moments, and I thought I don't like to rip on performances at all if I can help it, but I thought she was kind of miscast. And I kept reading critics saying like, oh, it's not your typical jump scare movie. It is. So
think again.
They build up, and then they do a scare, and then they cut to something that's not scary, and then they proceed with the scene. And that's what every modern horror movie is.
Yes.
So no matter what.
That sounds awesome. I can't wait to check this out.
It's perfectly fine. The best thing about it that makes it worth watching is that it really sticks the finale. And that's really, really hard for a lot of kind of casual horror movies to do. So it ended up being perfectly entertaining. It's worth watching. I think Empty Man was much better. But yeah, it's fine.
And that says something, because I agree that most modern horror movies kind of fall flat and they're just jump scares. And for me personally, I don't like get freaked out by a ton, and a lot of these fall flat at the end for me. Like, I always think, oh man, it had great potential. Like I remember seeing Insidious 5 and going, oh yeah, it had great potential. 5 or 4? No, what was which one was
there's
the
4
key?
Insidia. That's 4.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so 4. So I watched that and I was like, okay, this has potential. And then the ending was so dumb. And that's how a lot of horror movies go. So maybe I would like that more because it does have a better finale. I don't know.
I think
Another news, Insidious 5 is going to be produced and directed by Patrick Wilson. So,
and I already saw it, so I already know how it is. It was okay.
It was fine. What are you talking about? It's fine.
It's fine. Sorry, Ryan. Go ahead.
I could have sworn there was 4.
Yeah.
I mean 5.
All right.
Patrick Wilson all up in those horror movies. He's like, I'm all up in the Insidious movies. I'm all up in the Conjuring movies. Just put me all up in all of them. I'm going to write and direct them now. I'm going to star in them too. Just put them up. I'm going to be all of them.
It's like the Dudley Dursley of horror movies.
That's right.
Oh my God. You guys like everywhere. Okay. Thank you, Ryan. So this is part of the show where we go into this black hole of like what it is that we're going to watch next week. Because I scoured the internet for stuff that may be coming on streaming services, and there is nothing.
Are you telling me that the streaming services are now scraping the bottom of the barrel with their content?
Yes. Yes, they are.
Oi.
So,
Well, I know Alex has watched half of it, but I mean, Queen's Gambit is probably, I think, a good choice. I kind of want it.
I had Blood of Zeus, which is the anime.
I've already watched 2 episodes of that, and it is not good.
Okay, well, that's out. There is The Queen's Gambit, and then there is Truth Seekers, which is on Amazon Prime with Nick Frost and Simon Pegg.
I wanted to watch that.
I've actually watched 2 episodes of that, too, now that you say it.
Matt, where was this on your weekly recap?
Well, obviously, it was underwhelming, so that's why it was not there. So,
okay.
But I was expecting it to be a lot better, but I mean, maybe it gets better. I was just underwhelmed at the time, so I turned it off after 2 episodes. But I love Shaun of the Dead, and it was no Shaun of the Dead for me, so.
Hot fuzz.
That might be why.
Let me some hot fuzz. Okay, well then Queen's Gambit seems to be the winner.
I don't want to pick it. I mean, if you guys want to watch Truth Seekers, that's fine too. That's okay. I don't. Those are just my opinions. Whatever anyone's excited about.
I was just kind of leaning towards Queen's Gambit only because I have the leg up that I've gotten most of it done.
Full disclosure, I've already watched. No, I'm just kidding. I did watch the first episode though of Queen's Gambit. I did watch that. And it was all right.
Yeah, good. That's kind of how I feel. It kind of, for me personally, it progresses just a little bit each time, and I can't make up my mind if it's like, you know, good quality or if it's just entertaining enough where I don't want to turn it, you know, just flip it off. So, what did I say? I'm on episode 5 now, so I have 3 left to go. So yeah, I mean, how many episodes would we be doing though?
Well, for those of us that haven't seen it, probably just the first 3.
Well, the first 2 are like just over an hour long, so those do take up a lot of time. But the next like 3, maybe the rest of the season. No, the last episode is like over an hour, but the rest of them are like 45 minutes. So.
And we have
the first 3.
And we have the chore of, you know, that horrible chore of having to watch that next episode of The Mandalorian and talking about that. So,
I mean,
yeah, consider that.
Yeah, we should just make that part of whatever plus the Mandalorian episode.
Well, I mean, we can just do the episode.
I'm gonna watch Queen's Gambit anyway, and then I'm probably start watching Ted Lasso finally.
That's a quick watch. You'll be able to knock it out.
Yeah.
Executive decision. Queen's Gambit.
Can I wait? Oh, that's fine. Something popped in my head, and I just want to go on a diatribe about it. So I noticed that number 2, I think it was the number 2 ranked film or a top film on Netflix right now is Knock Knock with Keanu Reeves. Has anybody watched that? Not a fan?
Oh.
Brian has.
Came out like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
And
it's the number 2 movie, and it came out 5 years ago. So yeah, there's that. This movie has been on Hulu for like the past 3 years. Yeah. And it's number 2. Does no one have Hulu? Does no one watch this movie? Like, legitimately. It's got like, it's got Keanu and those 2 girls. The girl
right. Yeah, they like torture him or something like that, right?
Yeah, he cheats on them, like, because they show up at his house, so he cheats on his wife with him, and then they like torture him. Yeah. And it's an interesting premise. I don't know if it's executed that great, and the end's a little interesting.
Sounds a little like Hard Candy.
It's I mean, kind of, but not. I mean, not really, because they show up to his house, and he's like a normal dude. It's just he just makes a poor decision with some poor ladies, and they make his life a living heck. But yeah. That was my gripe. I'm like, it's number 2 on Netflix, but legitimately that movie's been on Hulu for at least 2 years. And I can't believe that no one watched it on Hulu, and now it's trending on Netflix. Legitimately. Does anyone have Hulu? That's all. And I'm done.
And scene. Okay.
And the reason I know it's on Hulu is because the movies that I watch, apparently it recommends it to me. It would recommend it to me like every time. They're like, you want to watch Knock Knock? I'm like, no, I've already watched it. I don't need to watch it again. You sure you don't want to watch Knock Knock? No, I'm good, man. I've seen it before. I don't need to watch it. Yeah, man, but you just watched that. You want to watch Knock Knock? No, Hulu. I'm telling you, I've already seen it. I don't need to see it again. If Netflix does this to me, I'm canceling. They're already upping the price. That's what we didn't talk about. Is that Netflix is raising their prices. What are you doing? I guess because they don't have any content now. They have to raise money to make content. Okay.
Pay for Dark Crystal.
Yeah, Ryan. They canceled Dark Crystal and then they raised prices, sir.
I mean, I canceled Netflix for them. So.
They need to send us some of that money. Reviewing all their crap.
I'm gonna review Knock Knock next week.
I mean, you have to watch it again, though.
And all of Keanu's poor decisions.
He's really bad in it too. That's
Poor Keanu Reeves.
Oh no, he's getting his Matrix checks. He is not
That's
poor,
right.
sir.
It's not. That could have been Will Smith. Anyway.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh man, what if it had been Will Smith and Sean Connery?
Oh God, that'd have been a weird. That's a
Junior,
weird combo.
Somebody needs to deep fake that. I need to see that right now.
Junior, this is not real.
What you talking about? This ain't real.
Oh well. We got any more rants before we head off?
No, man. Wait, does that mean Sean Connery would have been teaching him how to do kung fu? Is that what we would have seen?
That would have been amazing.
Oh, dang. What could have been, man? We just got entrapment. We didn't get to see him teaching kung fu. Dang.
A lot of bending Catherine Zeta-Jones. So you
God
win some,
bless
you
her
lose
heart.
some. Who's Welsh, by the way? And then in the movie, she's like American. So there's like a Scottish guy and a Welsh lady, and they're both American for some reason. But anyway, all right. Until next week, Queen's Gambit, first 3 episodes, and The Mandalorian, apparently. All right.
God, I can't believe we have to watch that show. Okay, yes.
Good night, everyone.